Welcome back to Good Day. 2024 seemed to be the year for computer hacks and data breaches.
Yeah, we've told you many stories about how those hacks have impacted places like hospitals, local governments, and citizens alike. And here with us to talk about some of the latest in data breaches and how you can protect yourself, we've got a cybersecurity expert with us. Michael Bruemmer from Experian is here. Hi, Michael. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you betcha. Thanks for being with us. So one of the biggest breaches of the last year, a class action lawsuit filed against National Public Data. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened in this particular case?
National Public Data actually supplies a lot of the information that are used in background checks across the world. So they'll have information like your social security number, name, address, and former addresses going back many, many years. In fact, I checked online and saw about 28 entries for myself personally from that database.
Oh, wow.
Now,
this
is
your
a
financial footprint, yeah.
And not just that, but it's so much more than that almost. And now this was a background check company. Did they have access to pretty much all aspects of our live story?
Any information that can be used for a background check, again, generally it's usually keyed off your social security number, but it will have phone numbers, addresses, mailing, both PO box numbers and that. So that information is kept for a number of things. But National Public Data was the company that supplied background check companies. They amalgamated a very large database, and that's why it was so critical when it was breached.
Well, I'm just, I was thinking about, your past addresses, for example. I mean, those are sometimes the security questions that come up, like identify this, that, and the other about yourself. So I can imagine maybe the chaos that would ensue. Michael, we had a recent, cyber hack here in our home coverage area, with maybe as many as, 50, 60,000 people affected. But talk to us about the size, scope, scale of this particular attack that you're referring to now. How many people were affected?
Well, one of the things you talked about a healthcare breach, and I'm assuming you're referring to that. Healthcare breaches are particularly bad because not only will it have your social security number, which is required not in a healthcare institution, but required by many institutions for payment. You also have medical records. You do have payment information that's comprised in that health record or health string. And that can be used not only to get coverage where you don't have coverage, but it also can be used if you have a pre-existing condition and you can't get any treatment, you take someone else's health identity information and use that to get treated.
Now, Michael, 2.9 billion people were affected here. We've been covering at least 10 different major hacks that have happened over this past year. And the theme that runs through every single one of them is a company cuts corners when it comes to their security, particularly when it comes to information technology. Yet, when something like this happens, nothing changes. No one really seems to be held at fault. It's really the essential slap on the wrist to these companies that put our entire well-being at risk. And now in the hands of whoever these hackers are, what can we do, A, to protect ourselves, not just us personally, but as an entire country, because something's got to change here?
Well, I think that there's three general things that you should always do as a consumer. One, be suspicious of if the offer is too good to be true, whether it's a link that's sent to you or a phone call from a number that you're not suspecting, you should be very wary. And there's lots of offers, particularly payment for your debts from Christmas. We're coming up on Valentine's Day. There's romance scams coming. There's charity and natural disaster scams. But generally, the offer is either suspicious because it's a crazy link you haven't seen, whether it's a text or email, or it's a phone number that you're not suspecting a phone call is coming from. So some of the protective measures are don't click on any links, don't go ahead and answer any phone calls from numbers you're not used to or suspecting a call from. Don't use any public Wi-Fi, because free public Wi-Fi can also be hacked, as well as QR codes. QR codes, to most consumers, they can't tell the difference between a good QR code and a bad one. So I say stay away from them altogether. And then if you do suspect that fraud's occurring or you have clicked on any link, second, be very quick to react and do something about it. Shut down that account, change your password, even file a police report. And then last but not least, have layers of protection around your personal identity information. Use two-factor authentication when logging into a site, which means a text or an email to another device so that you can log in. Make sure that you're also using a virtual private network or encryption with your text or emails from your phone or computer at home.
And Michael, I'm curious with your cybersecurity background and your experience with data breaches, kind of to Eric's point a minute ago, I mean, are you within the industry, are you seeing any more being done to maybe try to tighten down on these or prevent these from happening over and over? Because we do see, as we just said, we've seen a lot of these over the last year or so.
The trend that we've seen that's really hard with companies is that a lot of these breaches in the past 12 to 24 months have been supply chain breaches. These are third, fourth, or fifth parties behind the company that has the data, and they've shared it with somebody else. So this would be a cloud provider. It might be a secure file transfer protocol that's used to transfer data between companies. It also may be accounting or operational support companies that support that major institution. And the hackers are looking for ways that they can attack maybe thousands of companies, but it will in turn impact millions of consumers. In the past 12 months, we've had 4 breaches that are infrastructure related that have affected more than more than 100 million consumers each.
Well, Michael Bruemmer from Experian, thanks so much for sharing some of that insight with us, and we'll kind of make sure everybody stays on alert for protecting your financial information and your own personal data as well. Michael, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bill and Eric. Appreciate it.
You have a good day.